Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. So today we are at the two conference finals. First, we have the Avalanche versus Vegas. Next, we have Montreal versus Carolina. Surprisingly, my predictions for this were actually spot on for all of them. However, for the next final steps on advancing to go to Stanley Cup finals, I will probably change a few things. I feel like overall the Avalanche, they had a better battle with the Wild as they lost one game to them, but still swept the Wild. And to verse Vegas now, I feel like is a little bit of a downgrade. It's a little easier challenge. So for this one, I would say maybe Vegas does just like the Wild and gets what, but this would be a pretty easy sweep. I would say Carolina in at least 5. Vegas shouldn't be that much of a problem for them. But next, we have Montreal versus the Hurricanes. I just want to say right now that Dobes, oh my days, that goalie is insane. Wowzers, he did pretty bad in game 6, but I mean it's also the defense that was kind of slacking there for Montreal, but he did cook up on game 7. However, on Carolina, they're still undefeated. They're going into this match thinking that they'll still probably beat Montreal 4-0. However, this one, I feel like it's going to be different. I said that Carolina Avalanches, they go and advance to verse the winner between this match, which I would say surprisingly will definitely go to game 7. Unless what I think it's gonna be a domination. I say first game will go to Carolina. They'll feel very confident, very happy, and just goes and destroys Montreal first game. Probably like a 7-3 sweep. Game 2, they go at it again. They go probably just barely beat Montreal, like 2-1. And second game also goes to Carolina. However, this is where Montreal comes in. They go, come back, barely beats them, probably OT winner again by Lane Hudson or someone else. It's gonna go move to game 3, and Montreal shortens the deficit to a 2-1 series lead. Then game 2, once again, just barely in overtime, barely beating the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are getting scared now because that's 3 games in a row that were cut really close, but now series is tied 2-2. Over here is where Montreal takes over and just buries the goal. It's gonna be a 6-1 nothing game where Montreal smokes Carolina to take game 5 and then have a 3-2 lead. And then Carolina, they come in the next game full of confidence, know that they're definitely gonna win the game to force them game 7, but only to get knocked out and sweep as Montreal then goes to advance to the Stanley Cup finals to reverse the Avalanche after winning that game 8-5. This is my prediction, and Montreal is moving on to verse the Avalanche in 6. This probably will not happen, but I feel like this has a really good chance of happening. Carolina has a really good contending team, but in order for Montreal to pull this off, they would have to go really, really tough and pull it off. Even during the hardest moments, which I said was the first and second game, but if they do pull their stuff together, they definitely have the abilities to go and move on to verse Avalanche. So now is where I had my decision. Before, I had the Avalanche versus Montreal again. However, I chose Montreal. I'm not gonna choose Avalanche either. So I'm kind of in the middle of these two teams. I would say definitely game 7. There's no way any team would win in either 5 or 6. 100% not in 4. But it's gonna be a really tough battle. Avalanche were coming from a 3-game sweep, or 3-series sweep, sorry, and they're wanting to win the cup. However, the Avalanche, they have the President's Trophy curse, which they were the only team to beat that curse many years ago. I don't remember how many, but because of that, I'm gonna stick with my old prediction and say Montreal goes and wins the cup to take it home for Canada. This is what I originally had in mind until I saw a video explaining the whole thing with the Avalanche and the new Toy Story series. Toy Story is just releasing another movie, and so far every time that they have, the Avalanche has won the Stanley Cup. So that's why I believe that they're gonna come back yet again, break that President's Trophy curse, and move on to winning the Stanley Cup. Sure, this might be a stereotype, it might not happen, but I have a feeling something like this will, and it'll shake up the entire hockey world. That's why, right now, I believe that the Colorado Avalanche, with Nathan MacKinnon being the MVP, are winning the cup. As a Canadian, I would really prefer Montreal to go ahead and take the cup. However, I just feel like there's something about the Avalanche and the Toy Story, and all that probably will happen again. It happened every single time in the past, and nothing's stopping them on doing it again. So yeah, anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll tune in next time when we have our final 2 teams, which is what I believe is the Avalanche versus the Montreal Canadiens. This is definitely a Game 7 match. However, at the end of the day, I would say that Avalanche would take it home. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Peace.